Hi, this is George, and in this video I'm going to be talking about reef cleanup crews, the do's and don'ts of them, what to get, and why they're so important to the success of your reef aquarium. People always ask me what combinations should I get, how many of each critter should I get, and I usually do give them some suggestions, but most of the time it's ultimately your opinion and what you think you need. In my opinion, there's lots of things you should know before getting specific types of cleanup crews and types of critters. So I'll jump right into it and tell you my experience with a bunch of these reef cleanup crew critters. A cleanup crew consists of crabs, snails, shrimp, and starfish, and sometimes even sea slugs that do these three things for your reef tank. They clean up detritus matter, or like non-living organic matter. They sift through your sand, and ultimately they keep algae controlled on a day-to-day basis. So first, estuary snails. They are great for eating algae, and usually they'll be all over your tank on the rocks and the walls. They are slower but more thorough eaters, and the one downside to them is sometimes when they fall or they topple over, they can't help themselves back up. So you'll have to assist them with that, which can get a little annoying. Next are turbo snails. They are great big snails, great for algae grazing as well. But sometimes they can get so big that they'll even topple over the live rock. So that's why some people don't get them. But if you have a very big tank, it's easier to get a bunch of these snails than to get a bunch of small hermits and crabs. Blue-legged and red-legged hermits. These are some of the most common critters that you'll find and be exposed to that you'll be able to get for your tanks. They are good. I like them. They do clean the algae well. And you do get them in mass numbers. I'd say like 15, 20, 30 for a tank like this, maybe 12 gallons. But the main thing is that eventually, in the end, they're all just going to kill each other trying to find the perfect shell for themselves. And so, in a couple months, we'll have to buy another 30. And the Nasaria snails, I love them. Obviously, you could see in my intro. They totally take away any type of like scavenger, savvy crabs that you wouldn't want on your corals or anything like that. They're great scavengers. They eat any uneaten food right away. Their sense of smell, I guess, is amazing. What they like to do is they like to burrow in the top 1 inch of your sand bed. And then when you feed any extra pellets that fall on the ground, they will. It's funny. They'll all like come up and then they'll all head for the food. Also, Sarah snails. These are somewhat smaller snails, and they'll also like to be on your sand bed and graze algae on your sand. Okay, so this is one of the ones that I was really the most into talking about, emerald crabs. I love them and I hate them. They're awesome scavengers. They're awesome for getting rid of green algae problems, red algae problems, bubble algae problems. They'll eat it like crazy and they'll grow to huge sizes. The problem for me is sometimes they've been aggressive, and they have, the one I had just cut up my polyps, my clove polyps, and killed a couple other corals, so I had to get rid of him. But I guess it does vary, usually from crab to crab. Some are more aggressive, I guess, and they do molt, so you'll see, like, all of a sudden you'll be like, how did I get two? But really, one's just the shell, and they do get bigger eventually. Sally Lightfoot crabs, these are also beautiful crabs. They are great scavengers, just like emerald crabs. They're somewhat similar. They'll go and eat uneaten foods and things like that. The downside, they say they're reef safe. Sometimes they have been known to pick at fish and things like that, but sometimes it's just the fish was dead and, they'll go and eat it. So people have had different experiences with Sally Lightfoot crabs. Now let's get into the shrimp. The first shrimp is fire shrimp. Beautiful red color with white dots. I have personally never gotten one, just because they are kind of expensive. But in my opinion, they're the most beautiful shrimp you can get for your aquarium. They look really cool when you have them in tanks with fish, obviously, multiple fish, and they'll even eat parasites off the fish and things like that. And they also do a good job cleaning the tank in general. Next is the coral Brennan shrimp, also a very popular shrimp that many reef aquarists get. It's somewhat big. I'd say it's medium sized, and it also is a good scavenger. People say that they are aggressive shrimp, but others say that it's just because they've marked their territory and they don't want anything messing with their area. So yeah, that's their problem basically. Skunk cleaner shrimp, also very beautiful, with a white line or yellow line down the center of their red body. Very, very popular fish. These are shrimp. You can get these pretty much a lot cheaper than fire shrimp. They're great cleaners, and if you have them in multiples, they'll release eggs, and it'll almost be like a feeding time for fish. And so that's a really cool plus. Also, tiger pistol shrimps. Those also have like a relationship and like to have a relationship with gobies, and they'll guard like a sand burrow where the goby is, and if you can get two that are a pair that match, it'll be super cool looking in your tank. Starfish. I have had starfish. Sand sifting starfish are good, but the colorful ones that I've known, what I've read and learned, is that starfish don't have brains. That's why Patrick and SpongeBob is so stupid. And so they're unreliable, is my best word to describe them. They basically, they can't adapt to an environment change quickly, and if they don't, they'll die. So they can live for some time, sometimes, in your tanks, but other times you'll not even be able to realize, why they died. Feather dusters and cocoa worms. Cocoa worms are very beautiful. Those are great for filter feeding, getting rid of, nuisance type of particles floating around. So think about all those types of cleanup crew critters before, making a decision what you want to do with your tank, how many of what you want to get. And so definitely plan. If you're cycling your tank, usually right after cycles or right before you put in fish for like a week or two, you want to add your cleanup crew and have them start cleaning the tank and, getting used to the tank and making the tank adjusted for, life. Usually you don't want to have a ton of like the same shrimp or certain types of crabs in a small congested tank, because they will fight and they'll kill each other over shells, whatever territory. So do be careful with that. It does depend a lot on just how big your tank is. Before you get your cleanup crew, just make a grocery list. When you go to your LFS or local fish store, make a realistic list, obviously, of what you want to get and how many. Plan ahead, so when you get there, you're not just like picking and choosing things you're not really sure of. And if you do that, you should be fine. So I hope this video helped you with picking and choosing cleanup crews, what to get, what not to get, the do's and don'ts of them. George out.